American Greetings called me one day and they said, we'd like you to collaborate with Bob Mackie. And you know, Bob Mackie's the fashion designer that did all the Cher stuff and the, who was the Carol Burnett show. He did all of the stuff for Carol Burnett. She said, but we need you to go up and meet him and talk with him and have him give you the drawings. And so I'm like hugely intimidated. I walk into his studio, which is an old dry cleaner. You know, and it looks like an old dry cleaner. We come up to it and I thought, certainly this isn't Bob Mackie's studio. And I walked in and I kind of stood there and said, you know, I'm here to see Bob Mackie. His secretary came out, gave me a big hug. He said, you need coffee, you need what? Come on, Bob's waiting for you. It was the most delightful experience of my life. And he made me feel like a star, which was just amazing. And so I ended up doing what they're called Bob Mackie Angels. And these were ornaments. These were ornaments that were done for American Greetings. But I got to collaborate with Bob Mackie, so that was huge. That was a lot of fun. And I've done a lot of Disney stuff. These are all parts. These 4 princesses ended up as part of the lamp, where they spin on the base of the lamp. This is an umbrella handle, if you can imagine. This is an umbrella handle. This is an umbrella handle. This is Handy Manny. I don't know if he's kind of a new character. And Pooh, of course. And then when Enchanted came out, this was an Enchanted. This is from Enchanted, and this is a cake topper, you know, for children's birthday cake kind of thing. And then for Disney Direct, for Disney stores, I've done a lot of PVC character things and sets of characters, and so I have, here's the stepmother and the stepsisters, and the fairy godmother. And this was another one for the PVC set. When this company is no longer functioning, but this was the San Francisco Music Box Company.
Oh.
And I did a lot of Barbie work for San Francisco Music Box. This is resin. And then this was for the Disney stores many years ago, and they don't sell these anymore, but I did 4 princess music boxes for them. And it's 2 of those. And this is another piece, Lucy and the Chocolate Factory. This is a resin piece that was painted by a painter in Rhode Island, and I send all of the work that I do, and I have to send. Oftentimes, my clients will ask for a resin, which is just like this, and I start in wax, and that's why I brought these. These are the wax originals for different pieces, and I do all my carving in wax. And I've made most of my own tools, and I use hot tools to add wax to it, and then other tools that I've created to carve the wax away. And a lot of those tools are made from guitar wire, piano wire. I make loops and all kinds of things that are just really small. And I wear like a 10 power loop when I'm working, because I've done things for the Tomy company, Tomy Toys, that are full figures that are only this tall. So when you're doing a face that's this big, it can be a little tedious. Anyway, here, this is another. This is actually an umbrella handle too, but this is, and you can see, before I mold it, I have to mark a parting line on the side, so that when I go back into, and I should have a mold. I make silicone molds of the wax, and then I have to cut those molds open and pull them apart, and then pull the wax out, and put it back together, and then pour resin into that vacant space where the wax was, and that's how I get the resin piece. And then I will send a resin piece, and I don't do it for Nesco because they do their own painting, but I will send a resin piece as well as a painted resin piece to my client. And the reason for that is when they end up sending it to Hong Kong, and that's usually where they go, they have, the first resin is the mold master, so they do all their mold making from that original piece. And this is called a paint master, so they know what it's supposed to look like when it's finished. You know, what degree, what level or complexity of paint that the client is anticipating. So the client, so that the licensor, sorry, in this case Disney is the licensor, they will see it in wax, they will see it in blank resin, they will see it in painted resin. And they go through an approval process in each one of those steps. And so that's how they maintain control over the pieces that have their name on them. And most pieces that I do don't have my name on it. But UNESCO has, their program is designed around the artist so that they, you know, my name is on every piece, not on the piece, but it's in the certificate of authenticity, it's in all the advertising, it's on the poster, that kind of thing. But most other companies just don't do that. And actually, you can do something for Disney directly, like these pieces don't have my name on it. But that's how things work. And then this one is really special to me because my son got married 4 years ago, and he and his wife, I made this as a surprise for them. This is their cake topper. And it's my son and his wife to the letter. It's her dress, it's his tuxedo, it's her hairstyle, it's everything except she was wearing a veil. And when I had this painted, and I have a picture of this in this slideshow. When it's painted, she has a cloth veil on, or a net veil on, but I didn't want to cover it. I wanted to make sure that I didn't do it in the sculpt as this one is in the sculpt. I didn't do it in the sculpt because I wanted to see the back detail of her dress. So anyway, this was something I love to do, and I love doing likenesses. And I've done a lot of celebrity personalities for American Greetings.